So you have heard that British property owners don't have to pay a tax. And you are thinking, great, one less bill to worry about. But hold on a minute, is that really true? Let's break it down. So the first question people ask is, what is property tax? In the UK, people use different terms for it: landlord tax, buy to let tax, property rental income tax. But in most cases, they all are referring to one thing: the tax you pay when you own, rent out, or sell property in the UK. Now, unlike some countries, the UK does not have a single property tax charge just for owning a property, but that does not mean property is tax free. There are different types of taxes depending on what you do with the property: buy it, rent it out, sell it, or leave it in your state. So, what tax will you pay on your property? That's depend on few questions. So, the number one question is, how much did your property cost? Stamp duty, land tax, SDLT applies when you buy property. The more expensive the property, the higher the tax rate, unless you are a first buyer or buying below certain threshold. The next question is, what do you want to do with your property? If you are going to rent it out, you will pay income tax on rental income. If it's your main home, there's a council tax to pay. If you're selling it and making a profit, capital gains tax might apply, especially if it's not your primary residence. And the third question is, what type of ownership do you have? Is it freehold or leasehold? With leasehold properties, you might be paying ground rent or service charges. If you own property through a company, you might also face an annual tax on enveloped dwelling added, especially if the property is worth over £500,000. I have explained ATID in this video. If you haven't watched it, I would recommend to watch it. It will really help you to understand how ATID works and in which situation we need to pay ATID. And now, next and final question is, do you own another property? If yes, and you are buying a second home, expect to pay a 3% stamp duty surcharge. Also, owning multiple properties can impact capital gain tax and in the long run, inheritance tax too. Now, let's quickly run down property related taxes in the UK. So, number one is stamp duty. You pay it when you buy a property. Number two is council tax. You pay it when you own or live in residential property. Number three is ground rent. You pay it if you own a leasehold property. And number four is ATID. You pay it when you buy a property through your company. And number five is rental income tax. You pay your income tax or rental income tax when you let a property and you are earning a rental income from your property. And number six is capital gain tax. You pay a capital gain tax when you sell your property. Number seven is inheritance tax. You pay it after you passed away and your property becomes a estate on your death. So there are no big taxes in the property. However, there are few small taxes that you must be aware of, and getting your property taxes right is a best strategies to avoid interest and penalties. And of course, it is a part of best tax planning. Your property taxes are depend on whether you own a property, whether you rent a property, whether you buy a property, or whether you're planning for the future. I hope now you understood property related taxes. At least it will give you a starting point to deep dive into the property taxes. And if you have any questions, please do not shy to post in the below comment section. As earlier mentioned, if you like this video or any of my previous videos, or Ola, you like my channel, so please do not shy to share it with your friends and colleagues. I would really appreciate that. As always, hand ahead, salute until the next video.